Hello and welcome to the Daybreak podcast. I am Luke, your host.
I'm.
Either up there or down here is Kevin. He is
It's
your other host.
definitely to the side,
Oh,
but
is it? Oh, it's definitely up and down on my. Okay, so which side is it?
um, I'm trying to. It's your right side.
My right side?
Yeah,
Are we?
yeah,
Are
yeah,
we?
yeah.
All right, that's Kevin.
What's up?
um, yeah,
Oh,
we have a pretty packed podcast for you this week because last week the recording got fucked up.
it got
So,
very fucked up.
yeah. So, we're going to have a nice long podcast for you today, starting out with our weeks in review. Kevin, would you like to start us off?
Dude, yeah. So, okay, I started a new class this month, obviously, because I start a new class every month.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm just taking like this one class this month. It's a portfolio class, right? I am
Mm-hmm.
sitting there shitting my brains out, super scared. I am like, dude, like, I just got off of barely passing one of my classes last month, So I'm like razzle dazzled. I'm like, I don't know if I can take another hard class. I was told this was going to be a really hard class.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I was looking at the assignments for it. It's going to be a breeze. I was like,
Oh, that's good.
it's like a super it's like my first like really creative class. So I'm like, thank God. Like,
Oh, yeah.
so
You
yeah,
get
I'm
more
just
control over what you're doing.
yeah, like
That's always good.
yeah, I know. I was like, oh thank God. So I've just been like grinding out some work for that and then training for my Spikeball tournament on the 22nd, which we will get into later. Luke,
Oh, yeah.
what about you, Shorty
Uh,
Thickums?
this past week has actually been really good for me. It is not a secret that this past year, my freshman year of college, has not been good. Uh, like grades wise, mental health wise, just it was not a good time for me. But I got to move back home. This is why there's a switch up in scenery. Got the vibe lights.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had to match him. I had to
Yeah.
match him, which is
Oh
why we got
yeah.
our lights
Oh
in.
yeah. Um, but I was also able to fix my sleep schedule, so now I'm actually going to bed around like 11 and I'm waking up at 8. So I'm actually like fixing my sleep schedule, and I've been finding ways to keep myself busy. I got an interview for a job, so that's nice. I'll be able to get some income this summer, and I'm really just starting myself off to fix myself this summer. Reassess my motivations.
Yeah.
Make sure that next semester is a lot better than this one.
Yeah.
So
Make sure
yeah.
you're mentally there for it.
Oh
Cause
yeah,
like
and it's been really good. I've been hanging out with more people. I've been more social. And there have been some really, really cool reveals in the past week for like Marvel and Destiny and just a lot of stuff.
yeah, it does
So,
seem like that. It does seem like a lot of stuff for everything is coming out right now.
oh yeah, and it feels like a lot of the stuff that's coming out is super high quality. Like we like what 5 years ago, pretty much all of the movies that came out were really bad,
Yeah.
right?
I think so. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, like mid 2000s was not or mid 2010s was not a good age for movies.
Yeah. And I
Um
think, dude, honestly, I think even like the big people like Marvel even struggled with it. I don't know
oh
what
yeah,
happened to make it
they
everyone.
definitely
Yeah.
yeah, they definitely took their missteps, and a lot of Marvel stuff felt a bit more formulaic, but like later and later on, it felt like it had a bit more identity to itself, Marvel wise. And now we're getting a lot of really, really good and really well made shows like The Boys and Invincible and the Justice League. Like all of these shows
Didn't The
are,
Boys season 2 come out?
yeah,
Dude,
and
I
it was
have to
fan.
watch that. I
How
haven't
have
watched.
you not watched it
Dude,
already,
I don't
dude?
know. I literally sat through and when the first season came out, I binged it. I binged it all. Like I had it done in a day, day and a half. Um,
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my god, this show is so good. I love this concept where like the superheroes are evil. And then I heard the
Mhm.
second season came out, and I just haven't watched it yet. And I'm like,
Dude,
dude.
I love the second season. I think some people have said that it's not as good as the first, but honestly, I think there are some really, really, really good parts in season 2.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And also, especially if you like The Boys, then Invincible is gonna be, oh my god, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, you were trying to get me to watch it. What's it
Yeah.
on?
Um. Oh, it's what? Wait, what did you say?
What's Invincible on? Like,
Oh, it's on Amazon Prime.
okay, bet. I'll be watching that later. All right,
Okay.
dude. So like Luke said, we're gonna have a packed ass podcast, and I'm actually kind of
Oh,
hyped
yeah.
for it because, like, honestly, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we had those guests on, and in my mind, when I have a guest on, I'm like, okay, I have to do a decent amount of work for the podcast, but I don't have to do nearly as much. So then when we didn't have guests on, I like slipped out of the good habits of like doing my research about stuff. So I did my research this week.
Yeah,
Let's
I mean,
go.
also like life gets in the way sometimes.
True,
Like
true.
you're busy, you got classes, you know, we have other things going on, but like this is something that we would like to, you know, continue doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Dude, I was
Yeah.
kind of bummed that we missed the week. I was like, dude, that's like
yeah,
But
I was real bummed.
yeah,
but-
and like honestly, the deal with that, because like what happened was the audio got really, really messed up for it. And I could have put it out, but the audio was so choppy throughout all of it. And it was like every second it was like a beat that missed. And I was like, I wouldn't watch this, and I wouldn't force someone to watch this. So I was like, I don't want to really put it
Yeah.
out because I feel like, I don't know about you, but for me, I want to put out stuff that I'm at least kind of proud of. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it wasn't the vibe, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, like if we miss a week every once in a while, I don't think that's the
Yeah.
end of the world, especially because like more recently we've been looking into expanding our horizons on this channel beyond just the podcast.
Yeah. And honestly, that comes from just me and you having to meet up and like really, really nail it down. Because like we've
Yeah.
done it whenever like we're just hanging out or whatever. Like we've like grazed on it, but we really
Mhm.
got to hammer down something. I don't know. But I'm excited
Yeah.
for the next steps of this channel. It's going to be exciting.
Oh yeah.
All right. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. We were going to talk about the Bad Batch. We really were. And
Yeah.
we had our talk. We had our talk for this week's podcast 3 days before the recording. So we were like, "Oh, this gives us time to watch the first 2 episodes of the Bad Batch before we record." And I opened my notebook because in my notebook I write down all of our stuff that we're going to talk about so we can stay on topic and stuff.
Mhm.
And I write it down. I open it up like 20 minutes before we record, and I'm like, the Bad Batch, huh? And I go, the Bad Batch. And I was like,
Oh.
I felt so bad because I was like, damn, if Luke just watched this and it just slipped my mind, I'm going to feel awful. And Luke.
I didn't watch it either.
So we were just like, oh, okay.
We can talk about that next week, I guess.
Yeah, right? It is what it is. So, all right. I'm wearing a Spikeball shirt today because I was doing Spikeball activities today. So I
So,
have turf. I'm going to get it. Hold on. Ready?
oh. Ooh.
I have like 6 feet of turf. It's like-
Nice.
it's turf, right? To make a no-hit zone for Spikeball, right? To like make my
Mhm.
own no-hit zone so that way I can practice and stuff like that. Well, today I went to the store, I got all of my stuff, I got all my materials, I was feeling good about it, you know what I'm saying? And then I realized I forgot rope to like mark out where I'm supposed to cut.
Nice.
So I'll be going back to Home Depot tomorrow.
Yeah.
But there is Spikeball news that happened, which
Oh.
it's not news, but it's something I was talking about with my friend Michael, who's like really into the Spikeball pro community and all that stuff. Like he loves it.
Mhm.
That's like his jam. you know?
Yeah.
Like grape, no strawberry, you know what I'm saying? Um, so I was talking with him, and there's this team called Volley Llamas, okay? Will Pacone and
Mhm.
Joe Bondi, and they're really good. They like play at a pro level. They've beaten like top players, you know. They like
Mhm.
consistently, you know. They're the good they're the good boys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're lit. They're lit. So
Yeah.
pretty much SRA is coming to Florida on the 22nd, which is a tournament I'm playing in, Spikeball Round Net Association, which is what SRA is.
Mhm.
So they're coming to Florida on the 22nd. I think Volley Llamas might be playing in that tournament, and if they win in their division, they can move up to pro finally, and I am super stoked to see that. I'm playing in the
Well.
division under them. They're playing expert. I'm playing contender.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's gonna be hype to see. And
Oh, yeah.
on that weekend podcast, it's gonna be lit. All right, I'm gonna be hyped or not hyped.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. We'll find out. Um, but yeah, so there's that, and there's SRA is now in like full swing. You know, their tour dates that had to get canceled because of Corona, they got canceled, but they're still keeping the ones that didn't have to be canceled. So
Yeah.
it's in full swing. It's coming in. The Spikeball season's going strong. This means Nationals is actually going to happen this year. It's in Pennsylvania, like real SRA Nationals. Because last year, Nationals was not an SRA sanctioned tournament, which sucked.
Mm.
But it's going to be this year. So that's
Okay.
like the big news. That's like super exciting. I'm super hyped for that. And that's all I had for Spikeball. But Luke, Destiny news, I want to hear it right now.
All right, cool. First of all of that Spikeball news is really, really interesting.
I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, it makes me feel like
Yeah.
warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, no, it's always nice to see, people you're invested in succeed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I dropped it.
But with Destiny, in the past week, we have got a new trailer for the new season, and it looks incredible. Oh my god. First of all, I absolutely love the color scheme of the new season. It's like Tron, like neon sort of aesthetic. Yeah, it's really cool.
I feel like isn't that like out of Destiny's comfort range?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
like-
Destiny has definitely been getting more like wacky with their color schemes, and I love it.
Dude, I like how
each
they're
season.
I like how they're
Mhm.
reaching out. Like they established their strong community and now they're like going out.
Oh yeah, they're definitely like trying new things, like trying new art styles and like incorporating it into the world of Destiny, and I love that. But the story of this season is also really interesting because it starts off with the last safe city on Earth, and in let's see, in the entire history of the last safe city, this is the first day that the sun didn't rise. So
Okay.
it's discovered that the Vex which are a technologically advanced hive mind robot, like civilization. They're robot aliens, basically. They have encompassed the last safe city on Earth in what is really interesting is a simulation in in the physical world. They've enveloped the last safe city in a simulation.
So they Assassin's Creeded that shit.
Yeah, like there's no, we don't know how how it actually works. Like all we know is that the Vex have put a simulation over the last safe city, and it is making it eternal night, which is devastating for like the wildlife and the ecosystem that run based off of the sun. The Vex have engulfed the last city in endless night in a simulation, and technically, or usually in Destiny, there's a race of enemies called the Fallen or the Elixni. And usually they're enemies, but we have one fallen companion named Mithrax, who is one of the last, like, they call themselves splicers, but really they're like, so the fallen worship machines. Like, they worshipped the Traveler, which they deemed as the Great Machine, and they built servitors as, in the image of the Traveler. And so splicers have the ability to commune with machines. So he's seen as like a priest in the Fallen.
Okay.
And he's also the Kel of the House of Light, which is the only house in the Fallen, social structure that is allied with the Traveler. And so we don't know how to combat the Vex on this, so we turn to Mithrax. And he is helping us push back the Endless Night, and he is actually helping us dive into the Vex network, which is all that, like, prawn-looking, sort of psychedelic-looking places.
Is that going to be the raid, is you diving into the Vex network?
Well, actually, this season is coming with a raid, but it isn't coming with a raid relative to the season. This is another really big thing. The Vault of Glass, the very first raid ever created in Destiny's history, is coming to Destiny 2. Completely remastered with all of its previous loot. And there's going to be a new World's First challenge. There's going to be, a raid jacket. There's going to be a raid ring for the Vault of Glass. This is one of the most hyped parts of this next season, is the return of what is deemed as everyone's, like, nostalgically favorite raid.
I was about to say, because Luke brought me through Destiny twice, actually. Once, we stayed up for like 2 days straight to grind out my levels so I could be able to do a raid. All right. We literally just like sat on a beanbag in my room and just passed the controller every single like mission to get everything done. And then you brought me through Vault of Glass. That was my first ever Destiny raid, and you brought me in Vault of Glass at like the end of Destiny 1. Like, so dude, I might hop on Destiny 2 for that Vault of Glass raid, low key. Like,
dude, you know that I would definitely get you up to level by the time the Vault of Glass comes out, and I would run that all the time with you, dude.
Oh, we have to do it. We have to run it.
And this is one of the best parts about this, is that usually when content comes out for a new season, it's only for the people who own that season. It's $10 to own a season. You get the season pass, you get a bunch of new loot, you get, story missions. It's honestly a really good deal. But the Vault of Glass is free for everyone. So
we lit. Let's go.
Yeah, so you don't even need to buy the game in order to do this raid. Like, this is legitimate end game content for free-to-play players, and I think that is one of the coolest things that Bungie is doing. They're really valuing the free-to-play audience and really encouraging them to get into Destiny and, experience the game fully.
Yeah, I like that. Honestly, okay, so here's my thing with Bungie, right? I have a love-hate relationship with Bungie. Okay?
Everyone does.
Yeah, because, like, you think about it, Destiny is a great game, all right? You think about all the games they've made, they're all pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I've been fiddling with the engrams this entire stream.
Exactly, and they're good at marketing. They're good at marketing. They build a strong community. But, like, they're also just, like, a shitty company, I feel like, to work for. I feel like working for Bungie would suck dick.
Honestly, okay, I think that would have been true 3 years ago when they were working under Activision.
Yeah. Are they not anymore?
Nope. After Destiny 2 Forsaken came out, Activision thought that, it wasn't selling enough DLC to be, profitable anymore. So they gave the rights to Destiny back to Bungie, and now Bungie has full reign over the entire franchise, which I think
I like that a
is,
lot.
oh
Okay,
yeah,
because
it's
I didn't
fantastic.
like when they were with Activision. That was my
Oh yeah,
problem with them. I was like,
yeah,
I feel that's why I
Activision,
felt like working for Bungie would suck because you have to deal with Activision.
yes, yes, but I do feel like there is a lot of pressure for Bungie employees because as much as the Destiny community is one of the best and one of the most supportive I've ever been a part of, it is also one of the most critical that I've been a part of.
Yeah,
People who play Destiny tear this game to shreds. Everyone complains about the balance in PvP. Everyone complains about loot. Everyone complains about the amount of content in each content drop. And I think I think people lose sight, fans definitely lose sight of all of the good that a studio does for a game, especially after, you know, stepping away from Activision and now having full control over the game. And they're making some pretty big and pretty sweeping adjustments that are making the game a lot cooler and a lot more of what Bungie originally wanted the game to be.
okay.
And people can lose sight of that when, they're constantly playing the game, they're constantly grinding, they're oversaturating themselves with the game, and now all they're experiencing are the bad parts. But they completely forget about all of the good that's in the game too. Like, Bungie has now officially described Destiny as a first person RPG MMO, which has never been the label for Destiny.
I
It's
know,
always been a first person RPG.
and isn't it the first game to do that?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. It is the. I think, aside from Warframe, which is really different from Destiny, but it has its similarities. Um, I think Destiny is the first really successful shot at making a shared universe first person shooter MMO.
mhm.
And honestly, I think compared to the state that Destiny was in when it first came out, and when Destiny 2 first came out, and even Forsaken, and even Shadowkeep, the past expansion, the state of the game right now is the absolute best that it's ever been. There are a ton of cosmetic options to make your character look the way you want it to look. There are a bunch of mods to tune your playstyle or tune your loadout to the playstyle that you want. There are a bunch of, you know, guns and rolls that you can get, and there's a lot of loot, and there's legitimate progression that you feel, especially when starting out the game.
Yeah,
It's just that progression really slows once you hit the end game, and a lot of the people who constantly play the game are in the end game. They are always in the end game.
they stay in that in game, baby.
Yes. And I, honest to God, don't understand why people take Destiny 2 PvP so seriously, because there is no way in hell that Bungie can physically tune every single perk on every single gun on and every single mod on every single armor piece and every single perk and every single subclass to be perfectly balanced in a PvP setting.
So here's my thing with it. Also, what I don't get is they're so hard about PvP, right? Which
Yeah.
is like, okay, cool. I get wanting to have your game have good PvP. I understand that. But Destiny doesn't have a competitive scene for
It
PvP.
really, I mean, the competitive scene in Destiny is really limited to Trials of Osiris,
Well,
which is
I'm talking you're not seeing people
like,
go on stage and do like, oh, you have like phase and like
oh yeah.
chunks and like 100 thieves coming in to like make
Yeah,
Destiny teams. You know what I'm saying?
there's
So I
there's no Destiny MLG scene.
yeah, and so I feel like Destiny, while like obviously you want to please the people that play your game, right?
Yeah.
And like you get to a point that I feel Destiny's at now where they're just trying to like they want to like make the community grow, they want to make everyone happy type deal, and
Hmm.
while like also moving forward with their own agenda. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, but like I feel like maybe PvP shouldn't be their big thing that they should be focusing on, and I kind of think people should like shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, there are definitely ways to make PvP better. And I do think that Bungie is looking into ways to make PvP better. But I don't think that Destiny 2 PvP or Destiny PvP in general is ever going to hit the competitive mainstream like CS:GO or Call of Duty or Valorant or Overwatch
or Rocket
because
League.
yeah, because there's no loadout constant for characters. There's
Yeah.
no there it's Destiny PvP is really more of a place to show off the gear that you've got and the loadout that you have and the skills that you've acquired to other guardians.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you have a better gun, you're going to do better against other people. That's how it is. But that doesn't mean that you didn't earn that gun, you know?
Yeah.
Like
It doesn't
if
mean
you
that
go
you
into
didn't sit
PvP.
there. It doesn't mean that you didn't sit there for hours and grind for it. Like they like
Exactly.
stop complaining and how about you go get the gun? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. The people who have these loadouts and that do well in PvP, yes, they are very skilled, but and yes, their loadouts do give them an advantage, but they have also dedicated an extreme amount of time into refining their loadouts and into getting these guns. And to say that they don't deserve to show off that power against other people, it's sort of ignorant and it's damaging to, the overall identity of Destiny, you know?
Yeah.
It's all about making your character feel powerful. It's all about refining your skills, making you better at the game and making your character more powerful because of it.
Yeah, I agree with
And
that.
I'm not saying that I don't want Destiny 2 PvP to be balanced. I definitely do. And I think there are definite ways to increase that balance,
Mhm.
i.e., nerfing stasis, and, tuning overall things. But, like, if you really want a consistent competitive experience, then Destiny probably isn't the game to be playing.
Yeah, and I also think that Destiny's world building and their PVE is so good. Where like, don't take offense to this, Luke, but if I want to
Mhm.
play PvP, I'm gonna go play Overwatch, COD, Apex. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I I feel like whenever I've played Destiny in the past, I'm not playing Destiny for the PvP because
Oh, yeah, no.
I'm like, why do that when you have such an amazing game to do that has all these fun missions and all these fun raids, and
Hmm.
like also you can just kind of roam around if you want to.
Yeah, like, Destiny definitely, like, the PvE side of Destiny is almost perfect. The actual, like, mechanics of shooting an enemy feels so good. I think Destiny has the best just shooting and movement mechanics that I've played in a video game. And I've played Apex, I've played Fortnite, and I've played Call of Duty,
I
and I've
agree with
played.
that. I agree with you because I'm sorry, you said Apex and this brought me up. Apex
Mhm.
Apex killing other people sucks. It
Yeah.
is, dude, you have to unload like 3 mags into someone for them to die.
Yeah, and honestly, I would say that Apex comes the closest to feeling as good as Destiny, but Destiny, like, all like the sound design, the kick on the weapons, the animations, they're all so fluid and they all make so much sense. It's just it feels good to shoot your guns.
Yeah.
It feels good to, hit that hit that crit on an enemy and see that yellow damage number, and if it's a low tier enemy, their head will like burst off and it'll make like a pop noise. It's everything about shooting is satisfying. And I think the PvE in the game complements that a lot, especially the raids, because raids are like the best mix between puzzle and first person shooter mechanics.
Yeah. I agree with that, just because
there's so much creativity that goes into raids, and it really makes a special experience for gaming. Like nothing that I've ever played before.
I liked that. That was a good take. So I'm hyped. Destiny is moving. It seems like Destiny is moving in a really good direction.
Oh, you really cut out.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Well, it seems like Destiny is moving in a really, really good direction right now.
Oh yeah.
And I'm excited to hear more from you, and I might hop on that Destiny wave soon.
Oh, yeah.
My whole thing and why I don't play it as much as I do is I have like my rotation of games that I play. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everyone does. Like my rotation is very heavily Smite, Apex, Overwatch, Rocket League. Those are like my 4, and then like if I'm playing with like Beck, who's one of my other really good friends, COD. But I don't play COD by myself. Like who does that?
Yeah.
But and that's partly just because I think the COD games suck as video games. I think they just suck. They're bad games.
I would agree with you, except for zombies. I think the zombies modes, at least in the Black Ops series, excluding 4, and Cold War, like the zombies is really good. It's really fun. I love playing zombies in COD.
Yeah,
but literally any other mode in COD is so boring to me.
It's so awful. And like because I'm a very competitive person, I had fun with Search and Destroy for a little bit. Just because like I'm a very objective, like whenever I like play video games, I'm a very objective and competitive person. So like I liked that. But dude, it's like all these NBA, NHL, 2K games, or NBA 2K. That's literally the same game. Sorry, NFL, 2K, NHL, MLB. It's like, it's all really the same game, and you're just like switching up. For COD, you're just like switching up the maps, and then like changing some weapons, and that's it. And I'm kind of like, it gets boring after a while. But with Destiny, I feel like they add so many new things, and when they do add, it's a big deal. Like they change something major. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they made they made all of Destiny dark mode. You know what I'm saying? Like
oh my god, one of the best changes. I absolutely hated having to, boot up Destiny at night and then just being met with this blaring white screen and
it was like, ow, pain.
Ugh.
Okay.
Sizzling my eyes.
So, at the beginning of this episode, we were talking about how a bunch of things came out. We talked about Spikeball. We talked about Destiny. And in last week's episode that didn't get released, we talked about Marvel. Marvel released their schedule for movies coming out from 2021, I think, into the beginning of 2023. And the lineup, dude. I am so hyped for phase 2 of the Marvel Universe.
Oh,
hyped.
You have no idea. Dude, I like, even just from like the quick looks that we've got at Eternals, it looks incredible. Just the cinematography, the visual effects, everything just looks so good.
Just so good.
So good.
Dude.
And
go.
We now know the sequels to Black Panther and Captain Marvel are named Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which has actually been rewritten to be more respectful to Chadwick Boseman's death, which I think is a really, really good decision. Um, and I
Yeah.
think that Chadwick Boseman really deserves it. You know, he he was an iconic character, and he really is T'Challa.
He also in general was just a good actor.
Oh
And
yeah.
it was so sad. Like, I have I have trouble seeing talent leave, like
Hmm.
like true, like in musicians, actors, athletes. Like these not common people, right?
Yeah.
I have trouble seeing them pass away because I'm like, did you live up to your full potential, or like could you have done something more? Like, here's my thing with when X died and when Lil Peep died. I was really, really sad. And Juice World. I
Mhm.
was really, really sad all three of those deaths because I felt like all three hadn't lived up to their full potential yet.
Yeah, they definitely they they were gone too soon. Their catalog of music is so promising,
Yeah.
and especially with like up their releases up until death, they just kept getting better.
Yeah.
And like especially I think X is one of the most contentious ones because he was sort of seen as a shitty person.
Yeah. But
But I
but
think the what's really a shame about his death was the fact that he didn't get a chance to, you know, prove that he was better. You
yeah.
know,
He
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 ended up helping a
tried.
lot of people.
Yeah, and honestly, something I value in people. This is definitely off Marvel. This is far
Yeah,
off Marvel. We'll get back on track in a second. But
yeah,
um what I like, I value someone's effort more than how other people see them. Like, I like if someone fucks up in a really bad way, I value
mhm,
how they how they are taking the steps to bounce back more than them actually bouncing back. Cuz
yeah,
my whole thing is, if you're putting effort in to change yourself and be a better person, then that deserves my respect.
yeah. And I think the biggest thing that people don't understand is that people change. Experiences have a profound effect on your views. So X, he was tainted by a legacy of, him being in prison, him saying some, homophobic and really demeaning stuff, and him being abusive,
Yeah.
which is absolutely not okay.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that he couldn't have been better in the future, and that his presence couldn't have done more good than bad.
Yeah. Okay.
And I
Back to
yeah.
Marvel though, because we're about to go down
Yes.
a bad rabbit hole that's really sad, and I don't want to do that
Yeah.
because I am in a very happy mood right now.
Yes. All right.
But
So,
Wakanda Forever, Captain Marvel, their second movie is coming out,
mhm.
and dude, I'm just excited. I'm not gonna lie though, I didn't like the Captain Marvel movie. I didn't like
Mhm.
it, so I'm really hoping that Captain Marvel 2 is better.
Yeah, I think so they renamed Captain Marvel 2 to The Marvels, which is heavily implied that it is Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel. Miss Marvel being Kamala Khan, who is a teenage girl, and Captain Marvel is Brie Larson,
Yeah.
Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
And I really think that Marvel has a good opportunity to save the character of Carol Danvers
Mhm.
because honestly, this is a hot take, but I think Brie Larson did a really good job of portraying Carol Danvers. My problem is that I really dislike the character of Carol Danvers in the comics.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
She acts like she does in the movie. She's very standoffish and you know stoic, which comes off as like sort of it comes off as like flat.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
agree with that. It seemed like she didn't have any depth to her character.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, that's like what really took me out of it. I'm like, it's like
Mhm.
she's like, okay, fighting to save the world, cool, whatever. But it's also like she wasn't really fighting for anything, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
but adding adding characters like Miss Marvel, can give Carol Danvers a more sort of like mother-daughter relationship between the two.
Yeah.
I mean, this is depending on, how Miss Marvel goes. I don't know. We haven't seen the show yet. We haven't even seen trailers for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about Marvel, the MCU's Kamala Khan's, family life.
So, we talked about this last week, and it didn't come out. This is off of Captain Marvel, but it just like, I don't know why, but something you said made me think of this.
Mm-hmm.
So on Twitter, a bunch of people are trying to bring back Iron Man in certain ways.
God.
Right? And I'm always, like, my whole thought process on it, and I know your thought process on it because we literally talked about it last week, but we shared the same thought process of like, okay, Tony had his run, he did his stuff, let him rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? And there's these people that keep on trying to bring him back. And, like, it's like, dude, just, like, let it go. Like, it doesn't go with the story if he stays alive, honestly.
Yeah, and Marvel has such a deep catalog of characters that can take the forefront, like Scarlet Witch and the new Captain America.
Wait, yeah, I was about to say, hold on, you think Scarlet Witch can take this forefront?
Oh, yeah.
I get she's powerful, but I'm thinking straight off of, like, personality, no shot, dude.
Dude, have you read House of M?
Got me. Okay.
Okay. Scarlet Witch is, hands down, very easily the most powerful character in the MCU. No two ways about it. She has the ability to not only affect the probability of events, that's why she's called a Nexus being. She can fundamentally affect the probability of events. She can also manipulate reality to whatever she wants. And what's really interesting about her character is that over time, she becomes more and more unhinged and emotionally traumatized.
That's why I don't think she should take the forefront. All I'm saying.
No, I think she is going to be one of the people that take the forefront, maybe not as a hero, but as not as a villain either, but as
I'm talking
a force of nature.
I'm talking filling the role of Tony Stark.
Oh, no. I don't think they're going to have a specific... Like, I don't think they're going to fill the role of Tony Stark at all.
Okay, so you think... Okay, that's where I was getting lost at. Because I was like, okay, I could see... Sorry. I could see I could see Captain America taking that role and, like, putting the team on his back. Being that guy. But I was like, when you were talking about Scarlet Witch, I was like, dude, no shot she can lead a group of people.
I think just narratively, the new Captain America, Sam Wilson, he is, and Scarlet Witch and Spider-Man, and a lot of these newer, like the Fantastic Four, these are the characters that are going to take the forefront of the story. And I don't necessarily think that they're gonna fill the spot of Tony Stark, because Tony Stark's legacy is, his own. It's not a mantle to be passed down.
Yeah, it's almost like it's too big a shoes to fill. Like, you can't...
Yeah, and I think that's the whole point of Far From Home, is that, Tony has such a legendary legacy that not even he could live up to.
Yeah, and
so
speaking of Tony, and you think about Peter Parker, right? Because Peter Parker was like really like his mentee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm wondering when Peter Parker's getting the forearm tat that all the guys with daddy issues have. Like, the one, like the trees on the forearm. So, what I want to see for character development, is Peter Parker going to that tattoo shop and getting the trees tattooed on his forearm.
Oh my God.
That's called character development. Okay, because
I
like,
think.
dude, you just think about it,
Oh,
and he gave Tony Stark's glasses to the freaking like psychopath
oh my
way
god,
too easily.
dude. Yeah, dude, you already know that Peter Parker has some trust issues now, dude.
I'm just saying, like, like
Like, especially now that he just got doxxed as Spider-Man. Like,
dude,
dude, homie's got
unfortunate.
he's never trusting anyone again.
No, never. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
but yeah,
sorry.
no, like the whole point of Far From Home was that, like, you know, Peter wasn't meant to fill the shoes of Tony Stark. Peter was meant to build his own legacy, do things his own way, you know.
Yeah,
He needs to he has his own values, and those values are to protect, the people in his community. And that's what he needs to focus on.
yeah,
Tony Stark had a very different deal, and to say that Peter Parker is going to fill his shoes is just I
can't
don't want to
happen.
see it. I
It
want to
can't.
see him do things his own way.
Yeah. Um, sorry, but I saw the forearm joke right there, and I was like, I
Yeah,
had
no,
to
that
do
was
it. It came to
that was
mind.
good.
I was like, oh, dude, yeah. Um,
I really enjoyed that one.
thank you, I appreciate it. You have every single father figure in your life, 3 to be exact, die, and you're kind of like, ah, fuck, I might get the tree tattoo
Yikes.
on my forearm and see what happens.
Yeah.
Fuck around and start becoming Stoner Man. That'd
Oh
be,
my god.
dude.
Yeah.
Imagine, you know what I want to see in Phase 2 that they were
What?
bringing in Spider-Man actually doing high school things like drugs.
No, dude. That's never been in Peter Parker's character. I mean,
I know,
okay,
I
I could I
know.
could I could see it if the next movie if the next movie like centered around Venom, because then yeah, you would definitely turn into a shithead.
Yeah,
No doubt about it.
right.
But like that would be an interesting, way to see like that side of Peter Parker bonded with Venom. But Peter Parker by himself, he's never been into that.
I know, but I just want to see it, dude. Stoner Man, come on. He swaps out the spider logo for a pot leaf. Come on,
Oh, dude.
that's sick. That's sick. I'd watch that. I would be like,
That-
okay,
That'd be that'd be like a fun like sort of riff on Spider-Man. Sort of how Invincible is a riff on like Young Justice.
yeah. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
See, Stoner Man, Invincible, same thing.
Yeah. Amazon.
Amazon. Amazon.
Swear to God, we're giving you free money right here.
We want our invoice now.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, I'm sorry, but going back to year 2 or phase 2, the question is, do you think it's gonna have the same? And something I want to ask you, because you definitely have your finger more on the pulse with this than I do. Do you think it's gonna have that same build up that phase 1 did, where it was like they gave all these superheroes movies and they obviously had the Avengers coming in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it led into Infinity War, then Endgame. Do you think it's going to be that same pattern for phase 2?
Okay, this is really interesting because I think what Marvel is doing.
Wait,
right
I'm sorry. Keep in mind that was like a 6-year process that happened.
Oh yeah,
So like this is just the first like 2 years, but
yeah. I think Marvel is actually going to do a similar thing, except instead of giving characters individual movies to explain their backstory, I think they're going to give them TV shows, which is really cool because you've seen this already. Like, WandaVision is it's the origin story of the Scarlet Witch. Wanda Maximoff was not the Scarlet Witch before WandaVision, but now she is. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it was the origin story for the new Captain America.
Yeah.
He had a pre-established history before then, but now he's getting more focus as a main character.
Yeah.
And I think Loki is going to do the same thing, introducing, concepts like the multiverse and, showing this new Loki. And we have new shows like Miss Marvel and Moon Knight was announced, and there are just so many things. And I think they're going to leave like the big like world defining events up to the movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is why I think like Spider-Man 3 is going to be probably the last of the like single character focused movies. While like more in the universe, like I think starting with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that's going to be more of like Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch and maybe Spider-Man, and like it's going to be more of like several characters involved in a story rather than just Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. So, anyways, Marvel Phase 2 is going to be really fun. I'm super excited for it. I thought of something that just happened. It was kind of recent. And it's definitely in the social media realm.
Oh?
And that's Jake Paul being a complete shithead and embarrassing his older brother and almost blowing $100 million deal for his older brother.
Dude, oh God.
Now, I have sat here on this podcast. I have defended Jake Paul. Okay? I have. There, you can go back to our episodes. I have defended Jake Paul.
Just to be clear, I do not share the same views on him, and I didn't at the time. Carry on.
I can't defend him in this case.
Yeah, no. Dude,
I just can't.
Jake Paul.
Did you see the video of what happened?
No.
So, all right. Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather had their first press conference together in Miami. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And, they're sitting there. They were, it's a boxing match. They're talking a little shit, but they're keeping it professional. You know what I'm saying? And they, Logan obviously has a lot of respect for Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, he's not really into all this YouTube shit. He doesn't really know who Logan is, but he still has respect for him because he's, knocking out a YouTuber, whatever, respect for him coming into the ring. Yeah. Well, they do their face-off. Cool. Floyd Mayweather is on stage talking about Black Lives Matter and the black community coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Paul goes up to the front row of the stage and just starts untying his shoe. That was the first thing where I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. This isn't your fight. Stop trying to steal the spotlight from your older brother. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing he did that he got his ass beat by 5 guys that were twice his size, and Floyd Mayweather, by the way, all beat his fucking ass over this. Floyd Mayweather standing like this, Jake Paul gets in his face. They're doing their standoff, they look like they're about to kiss. Cool.
Yeah.
Shit's going in. And Jake Paul snatches his hat off of Floyd Mayweather's head, goes, "Got your hat," and tries to run away. He was then greeted by 5 of Floyd Mayweather's bodyguards, and Floyd Mayweather starting to beat the shit out of him, and his bodyguards starting to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And
I mean, technically it's not illegal because Jake Paul isn't participating in the fight.
It's not illegal. It's not. But here's where things got a little saucy. Okay? Floyd Mayweather's exact words were, "I will kill you, motherfucker." And not "oh, I'm gonna kill you, I'm mad." A genuine, "I'm going to kill you, motherfucker." And here is where Logan thinks Floyd Mayweather's team had something planned in case something happened like this. Because when Jake Paul grabbed his hat, immediately 2 of Floyd Mayweather's bodyguards grab Logan. Right? Restraining him from being able to stand up and protect his younger brother. You know what I'm saying? Then Jake Paul proceeds to get the shit beaten out of him. Jake Paul runs away. Obviously, black eye, bloody face. His shirt completely stretched out. You know, because they're grabbing his shirt. They're punching the fuck out of him. Because, like, he's a little shit. He low-key deserved it. You know what I'm saying?
He definitely deserved it.
But here's where I felt bad for Logan. One, his brother embarrassed the fuck out of him. Like, just doing a stunt like that, his brother embarrassed the fuck out of him. And I think that, you know, I'm a little Logan Paul fan. I think he didn't deserve that to happen to him. And I think Jake was definitely a little shithead.
Yeah. And as someone who, you know, I don't necessarily like Logan Paul, but ever so slightly, my respect for him is growing.
Yes.
You know?
And
like he hasn't honestly, like, he hasn't been doing that much bad stuff by himself. It's mainly just Jake Paul smearing him.
Yeah. And I agree with that. But then so Logan finally breaks free from bodyguards. And Logan is like running down trying to get Jake to not have Floyd Mayweather kill him because like that would be bad, you know. And there were like people on Floyd's team that were like holding him back, like holding Logan back from being able to go in and save his brother. And I found that fucked up. That's where I think Floyd Mayweather's team did a wrong there. I think I get you're trying to protect your guy, but like, yo, when it's at stress, when it's at that level, like he's trying to assure everyone's safety.
Yeah, I think that was more of like assurance for Logan Paul so that he wouldn't, you know, disqualify himself from the match for attacking Floyd Mayweather.
He wasn't. So here's the thing. He wasn't trying to attack Floyd Mayweather. He was actually trying to attack his brother to get him to stop.
Oh, really?
His brother kept milking shit. He was trying to like protect his brother, but like he was trying to protect him in the way of like, yo, you need to stop. You need to like cut this shit out.
So he was like, they were like holding him back before Floyd Mayweather started like hitting on him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's messed up.
That's where it gets fucked up.
Logan should have been able to like pull Jake Paul out himself.
Yeah, and be like, yo. And dude, I felt so bad because there was cameras out like after the whole incident happened, right? Which went over half of the Miami stadium and like the backstage of the stadium. Like it started out in the field, I think like right in front of the tunnels. It went all the way back into a tunnel to the left, then all the way back to the right of the other side of the tunnel. And it was like a huge thing. And after everything got settled, there was cameras at Logan, and Logan was like crying because he was like, why the fuck would he do that? I felt so bad. I was like, holy shit.
I honestly, like, the reason why my respect for him is growing is because like you are mainly like my source of how I get knowledge of Logan Paul. I don't really keep up with him.
Fair enough.
But from what you describe, he's like actually like making strides to, you know, mature and, you know, be a better content creator.
So here's my thing, Luke. I think for the past year and a half, he has shown he has made those strides and he is that good content creator. And he was busting out these YouTube videos that were just killing it. Like we're talking 6 million in the first day, like 6 million views in the first day. You know what I'm saying? And like everyone realized he wasn't a bad guy. But anyways, now he's made these like, he's made this insane money, right, off of his club. So like he's chilling. I'm sorry I had to talk about that. It just came to mind. I wrote it down and I looked at it and I was like, yeah, you know. And also, we've been going for about 58 minutes, and we still have another topic to discuss.
Oh, good.
So I just wanted to hop on that and like voice my opinion about it. I think Jake Paul is an immature little chotch.
Yeah, no, that's super shitty for Logan Paul. And like, as someone who has, you know, historically disliked the Paul brothers, that says a lot. Yeah. Like, and Logan Paul should be in charge of his own image, and Jake Paul should stay the fuck out of the spotlight when it's Logan's turn.
Yeah, um, and like Jake Paul's whole thing is like he's the problem child, but it's like, dude, how long can you keep that shtick up? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like even the problem children, they either spiral down into a rabbit hole, which just makes them makes them less interesting. People don't like them, or they get their shit together and they make actual progress in their life. Yeah. And they become more likable. They become respectable people.
Yeah, and no, you want to hear a fucked up thing though? So, Logan Paul's immediate reaction after it, he was upset at his brother. He was like, "What the fuck was he thinking?" Blah blah blah. He then proceeds to go to Twitter, and here's where I think his management was like, "Yo, you need to play this off," because like he goes to his Twitter and he was like, "All this stuff happened, successful press conference." Where like you saw his immediate reaction and he was like, no. So I think his management was like, yo, you got to play this off in some way, so like it doesn't get too serious. And I was kind of like, dude, that's fucked up. But
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see Jake Paul at any of the other fight or any of the other conferences.
Oh, he's banned from the Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight. He's not allowed to go watch it. He's not allowed to. He's not allowed to be in the stadium. Like he's not even allowed to be on the property. Like he is like banned for the fight. But yeah.
And also, I've heard like recordings of Logan Paul like talking to his dad and Jake Paul and like scolding them for shit that they're doing wrong. And like honestly, like it seems like they are more fucking with his image than he is.
Yeah, and what I value is he holds the people in his life very accountable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is a lesson that like I took from him where I was like, okay, like I should hold the people in my life more accountable for the stupid shit that they're doing.
Oh yeah.
Go.
The more you hold people accountable, the higher quality of life and the higher quality of relationships you have.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because then you're not sacrificing anything for yourself and you're making your viewpoints extremely clear to the people that you care about.
Yeah. Okay. One more topic, and then we're done with the pod. And the audio is not going to be messed up. It's going to be a great podcast, hopefully. So, first year in college. You had your first year in college just happen. I am the equivalent to my first year of college done.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. I know you had a little bit of trouble second semester. But first semester, let's go there.
Okay. First semester was extremely difficult for me after the first 2 weeks because the first 2 weeks I had just moved into my dorm with, one of my best friends, and it was so fun. We were getting our work done.
We didn't move into a dorm together. Joke.
I said one of, okay?
I know. It was just like, it was there. Shut up. I'll shut up now.
But we were having a good time. I was keeping up with classes, but then, COVID got worse and we got kicked out of our dorms and we got sent home. And my motivation plummeted. And I only passed one class. It was really bad for me. And the second semester, I really wanted to do better, but little did I know that moving into a dorm by myself and not having many friends around to, socialize with was a lot more damaging to me than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Like, I lost all of my motivation for work. I ended up isolating myself for a while, and I've really just I discovered that the major that I was going into, the art major, was really probably not the best choice for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I love art and I love drawing and I love creating, but maybe it's not maybe that's something that I don't need to do as a job. I can do that more as like a passion thing.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that, one of the most important lessons to learn in life in general is that if stuff doesn't work out, there's more stuff to do.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think,
there's
I'm not gonna lie, I think there's value in isolating yourself so you can figure out what you need to do and what you want and the things that
oh
help
yeah,
you. Because like when I first
yeah,
moved to Florida, that's what I did, and it helped so much.
yeah. I definitely think that you should have time to yourself to figure out you know what your motivations are, what your even like what your beliefs are,
Hmm.
right? Like it's really important to you know figure out your own understanding of how things work and to really define your worldview. And I think too much isolation can be very damaging. um but it's also important to learn that like sometimes you need to prove to yourself that you can't do it alone,
Yeah.
right? Like that's what this past year for me was. And I don't think that this past year was necessarily a waste because I really did prove to myself that I can't do, I can't do this alone. I need help getting to where I need to be, and that's fine. That's
Yeah.
that's a perfectly fine place to be in. And even if stuff like college or jobs don't work out, there are always other things to do. There will always be a place for you in the world. You just, you know, need to be open to the opportunities.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Um, and there's so much pressure from like parents and just social, the social hierarchy to attend college and to live out this, perfectly planned out life, get a job, get a 401k, save up money so that you can, retire and then spend that money until you die. There's meaning to your life beyond that plan, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Stuff
Um.
happens, plans deviate.
Yeah. And I'm happy that like I'm happy you figured stuff out about yourself while you
Mhm.
were, because there's some stuff that you would tell me that you figured out about yourself, or I've known for a while just because I've known you for so long, and I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm happy that you like figured yourself out, because like there's stuff about me that I was talking with Brady. I've also talked. This has also happened with you. Brady's just more recent, like the
Yeah.
more recent thing that came to my mind, um, was I was like telling him something that I figured out about myself, and he was like, "Dude, I've known that for ever since I've met you." He was like, "It just took you a long ass time to learn it about yourself," and I was like, "Holy shit, that makes so much sense."
Yeah.
Like that, I feel like people underestimate how much the people around them know about them.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I consider myself a very observant person, and
Yeah,
I like to think that I know how you operate, and I know how Brady operates, and I know how all of my friends operate
yeah,
on like an emotional level, and that sort of dictates how I act towards you guys. If I know that you're having a bad day, then I know that I'm gonna lay off the jokes and I'm gonna try and distract you from whatever was bothering you.
true.
But if you're having a better day, I can throw a bit more punches at you, and I know you can take it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah. So first year in college, I feel like I've learned a lot about myself. You learned a lot about yourself. It was more of like a.
Mhm.
It was. I don't want to be like finding yourself, but like also it's kind of like finding yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
there's
Like,
as hippy dippy as that sounds. Like there's a genuine need to figure out what you value. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
because then you can contradict yourself. You can become a hypocrite. You know,
And
and
I feel like it also helps with your circle of friends.
oh
Like
yeah.
knowing about yourself, I feel like helps you build a strong circle of friends because you realize, okay, these are the people I need here to help me
Mhm.
work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Good pod.
Yeah.
Good
Uh,
pod.
this was a really, really good one. This is a long one. I think this is our longest one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think this
we're
one and the one
post
we did with
hour,
Neil,
right?
we're past an hour. We're like 10 minutes
Yeah.
past an hour.
Oh,
This one and the one we did with Neil definitely are more longer ones.
hmm
We just had a lot to talk about, and we missed the episode last week. And I'm not gonna lie to
Yeah.
you, the episode last week, not gonna lie, not too mad that it didn't get released. It was kind of weak,
Yeah.
and yeah, we really only kept one topic from it, which was
Yeah.
Marvel. But yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Daybreak. I think what are we on? Like episode 8, 9, maybe?
Yeah, eight, something like that.
Oh.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I think next week, we should expect. We want to talk about the movie Under the Silver Lake
Yes.
because that is a fantastic movie and it is such an interesting one. And I would also like to touch on Invincible because that is also another really good show that I think you should watch.
It's gonna be
and I think everyone should watch.
It's gonna be a very film heavy episode next month,
Yes.
not next month, next week,
Yeah.
that I'm really excited for because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I haven't like spread my like tail feathers of my film knowledge yet on the
Yeah.
pod, which I'm like excited to do.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I consider myself to be pretty well versed in movies and media.
I agree. All right.
So
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you next week. Peace.